Hello, Joe. Thank you for being on your small business podcast. How are you today?
I am wonderful.
That's awesome. And what state are you in? I forgot to even
I'm in New
ask you.
York. I'm in Queens, New York, Flushing.
New
I'm one
York.
subway stop away from Citi Field. If you're into
Wow.
baseball, yeah.
Well, that is exciting. That is exciting. So, of course, I start with my icebreaker question. I love the icebreaker question. So, your icebreaker question is, what would you do for 24 hours if you were invisible?
Wow.
That's a good one.
You just totally like, what do they call that? Diversion? What
Yeah,
would I do for 24? The same thing that I'm doing now.
really. If you were invisible and you
Yeah.
could do anything, you know what? That means you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
I'm transparent. That's one of our core values of Bedrock Business Builders is to be transparent. So I'm like, it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I might lose sleep over that tonight.
Well, you can sleep on it and then you email me and then I'll put that in the show and say after he slept on it, this was his answer.
Okay, good question. That's my. I love those mind. I got to write that down. We
Yeah,
have a mastermind meeting, and we love questions like this.
I love it.
So I
Good.
might have to invite you to that.
That would be great. That would be great. And I would
That's a
love to think of the questions.
that's a good icebreaker. Good.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, good.
So, of course, you mentioned you are the CEO of Bedrock Business Builders. Let's tell our listeners exactly what you do and what is your company.
Well, what I do, I'm a CPA. Actually, I'm an entrepreneur with a CPA license. That's the truth. I became a CPA to learn about business, and 35 years later, I'm still doing tax returns and bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For a long time, I worked with larger established corporations, trucking companies, construction companies. And about 2 years ago, I pivoted. I decided to start working with the smallest of small businesses because those are the people that needed the most help. And we
Mm-hmm.
started Bedrock Business Builders basically to provide a firm foundation for new business owners,
Yeah,
starting with just basic bookkeeping, tax preparation, and accounting services.
it's very much needed because I believe, whenever you start the business, that your first idea is what is that business and what is it going to be? And you don't even think about bookkeeping and taxes. You don't think about any of that stuff. So it's very
Why
much
would
needed.
you? Why would you?
Yeah, because you're so
Uh,
focused on the
Honestly,
business and
it,
making
it,
money and growing it, you're not thinking about all of that.
it's like a conundrum. It's like, okay, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
Okay, and we don't think of. That's why I say I'm an entrepreneur. I've made a lot of bad decisions. We'll go through that, but what we do, we try to bring it back to the basics
Hmm.
so that you have a good understanding of what a business is and what you need to do. And then
Right.
we take it a step further where we offer mastermind groups and networking opportunities and stuff like that for
That
our
is awesome.
clients.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, in your 35 years of running your business, what would you say are the most common reasons why businesses fail?
When people start a business, they're at a distinct disadvantage as a sole proprietor because that's how we all start out.
Mm,
Sole proprietors are overtaxed, over audited, get no respect, and it's tough. It's hard to start a business.
yeah.
Okay. So starting from behind
Yeah.
is tough, right? You're like,
It,
okay, start, and they don't. But what happens is people don't realize that they're behind. They don't realize the problems with being a sole proprietor, with being taxed and running a business as a sole proprietor.
mm,
So what we do is we try to educate people about a better way to do business, how to structure your business, uh, how to do business.
yeah.
So that's the first thing. So you start out at a disadvantage, and also we don't know what we don't know. So our job is to find out what we don't know and to figure out how to fill the gaps. Does that
And
answer your question?
it does. It does. And that's where you come in. You come in and fill in those gaps.
Well, here's the thing. What do you do? How do you generate revenue?
Me?
Yeah, if I could
One
turn this around a second.
and yeah, I'm not used to people asking me questions. It's like, huh, okay. No, but with the podcast, because I have sponsors, then I'm making my own courses for business owners, different
Okay.
courses. Um,
I'm joshing you because you told me what I know what you do.
yeah,
You generate and you're pretty good at it,
yeah,
right?
yes, I am.
Well, are you good at accounting and bookkeeping?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so we agree on that. So I'm great. I'm great at bookkeeping, accounting, all that. So what we tell our clients is, listen, you're great at what you do. We're great at what we do, and together we can. That's how you create a business.
Hmm.
You can't do it alone. That's what we try to tell people.
Yeah,
It starts with the bookkeeping, and then once we have the accounting, the numbers, the science behind what you're doing, we know what questions to ask. We start collaborating, and that's how businesses grow.
yeah.
I don't know one business that did it on their own successfully. You start out on your own,
Hmm.
but if you're going to survive, you got to have other people.
You do. And I've always have said that you want to get to that point. Like that's the point you want to get to because you're growing. Your business is growing and now you need more people to assist you. It's actually a good place to be, is needing that assistance.
It's also painful.
Well, yeah.
But think about it. What has ever come, what has ever happened that was great in your life that didn't involve some kind of pain and suffering?
Yeah.
Well, no. What do we say? Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
Uh, you give birth. I thank. I'm like, thank you, God. I don't have to do that. I love and I respect women that. Oh my God.
Thank
But
you.
it's painful. I don't know if
It
you
is.
have children, but I have
Yes.
three children, and my
Oh
wife
wow.
was cursing me out at every, and I deserved it. But it's
Yes.
painful. But then look at what happens, and
Hmm.
I look at a business the same way. It's not going to be easy.
That's
You
true.
need other people, especially in today's business world. I mean, social media is like there's so much that I don't know,
Yes.
but I had to admit that I didn't know, and then I had to go and get help. But it takes time.
It does.
It takes time, and the end result. What I do is I look at who made it and how did they make it, and you look at them, and they're all surrounded with
Hmm.
people that are smarter than them,
Yeah. That's
right?
true.
So
Yes.
how did
Yes.
they get there? They did it a little at a time.
Hmm.
And people don't want to hear that. It takes at least 2 to 4 years to really start a business that has potential.
Yes.
Who wants to hear that?
Nobody. They want the easy way. They think it takes overnight. They look at
Right.
social media and they really think it's overnight success, and it's not. It's not at all. but you're
It's not.
exactly right. So, um, during your entrepreneur journey, what do you think are some of the mistakes? Hold on. I was gonna say, what do you think? What do you know are some of the mistakes that you've made along the way?
Today, this week, this like
All
now
these
let's
years,
narrow it down.
35
Oh my
years.
God, it's been
Or like what's
count
the ones that stand out the most that you
count
learned something from?
countless mistakes. Okay, I'm going to be transparent right now. You know, I
Okay.
have a growing company. We're scaling, and I've been doing all the accounting work
Mm-hmm.
all of these years because I'm an entrepreneur. I don't want to give up. I don't want to let go.
Right.
Okay, it took me years to let my mother do my bank rec. My mother was my bookkeeper. She did
Yeah.
all my clients' bank recs, but not mine. I didn't want her to
Wow.
see what I was spending.
See,
Listen,
that's a whole nother story. You
well, so about 2 months ago, I said, I'm not objective when it
mm-hmm.
comes to my own account. Maybe I should give this to, so we have a CFO now, and
Okay.
she started dissecting my financials and asking me painful questions about why are you spending money on this?
Wow.
And, oh my God, like we started cutting expenses because I said, I don't know why I bought that. We don't need that subscription. And I realized it's like we don't see the forest from the trees. You know
Mm-hmm.
about the shoemaker with the kids with no shoes?
I
Oh,
don't think I've heard that story.
uh, we don't take care of ourselves. I can't do my own accounting work. I shouldn't
Right.
be doing my own account. If you're a marketer, you should not be doing your own marketing.
Hmm. That's a interesting.
That
That's
you can
interesting.
it and listen, I work with world-class entrepreneurs. People, my coach has $100 million business.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with him.
Hmm.
He has a coach to tell him how to coach. He has people that are keeping him on track on the littlest thing. Like it's you would think, oh, he's got 100 million. No, all have the same issues.
Now as you're talking and I'm thinking, I'm like, yes, that does make sense because you do want somebody because you can't 100% do everything correctly right. You know what you're good at, you know what you're bad at. So whatever you're bad at, you need to find somebody to do that for you so you can focus
But
on what you are good at.
but the thing is, I'm great at accounting,
Yeah, but you're
just
not
not
it's
for
but it's
myself.
your money. Yeah.
Just not from. I'm not objective. I'm not
Right.
objective about my own money. So
Mhm.
even now, like making financial decisions, I'm like, I'm going to put it in front of my team
Yeah.
before I make a significant financial decision. I'm going to, hey, here's where we are. Does this make
Mhm.
sense?
Right. That
You
makes
got to be
sense.
you got to be held accountable.
Yes. Especially being an entrepreneur, small business owner. If you're not holding yourself accountable, somebody needs to. So
Listen,
what do you,
I'm
huh?
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask you another question, but go ahead. What were you gonna say? Finish it.
One of the key ingredients of success is humility. People don't talk about this enough,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to be humble. You got to be able to look the people in the eyes that you're paying, that you're working with, and saying, listen, it's on me. I did this.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake. Yeah, maybe one of my team members did it, maybe, but ultimately, it's on me.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be held accountable, I want to be good. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know what my mistakes are
Mm-hmm.
because we make mistakes all the time. I bought a business, and this is another, the painful memories that
Mm-hmm.
I use to my advantage now. Early in my career, I decided that One of my clients had a car stereo business
Hmm.
and he wanted to sell it. He wanted out. And I said, well, he's not running it like a business. I can do better. So I bought it from him. I didn't know anything about car stereos. I like I like listening to music. I like, I love the business, but I didn't know anything about it. So
Huh.
I took a beating on it. I
I
got into
bet.
an industry that I had no knowledge of. So that's a lesson to people like that are starting businesses now. You got to go with something that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, it's got to come from your heart. You're like, I know this. This is, you got to solve a problem. You got
Yeah.
to find that problem that you solve. I wasn't solving a problem with a car stereo business.
No, I think you just made another problem. Is what happened.
I got an expensive lesson, and I share that with people so that they don't do the same thing again.
That's a good lesson. It is. It is because that's always the first thing. I have a couple of clients I do business coaching with, and they're all. I have one that's always trying to think of a business to go in. I'm like, but it's not going to work if you don't like it. If you don't have an interest in something, it's not going to work. You need to be passionate about it and really know it from A to Z before you can try to start a business with something you have no clue what you're doing. You're setting yourself up to fail.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's like you got to close your eyes and say, forget about the money. If I wanted to do something that helps somebody right now, what would I be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then I could help you monetize
Right.
that. Once you got
Exactly.
that thing, you're like, I want to help kids that keep falling off of motor scooters
There
because
you
it
go.
don't matter. There's so many of it. It doesn't. I want to help people that keep driving down the wrong way on a one-way street. You know, believe I'm
Yeah,
going to get that URL now, and I'll probably get a lot of hits. But
you
it doesn't
would.
matter what the problem is because you got the whole world to market to now, right?
Yes, you do.
So you find a problem, and then I'm the guy. I will help you monetize it.
That's
Let's turn it
awesome.
into a product. You do it too. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, let's turn that into a course,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
You turn it into a course, and I'm like, I'll set up the bookkeeping system, but now you got a business.
Yes. How to drive right on the right side of
Well,
the road. I know.
I tell people if you like chasing butterflies in the desert, I can help you monetize it.
Wow.
All you got to do is you write a blog about it. I don't care if it's make believe. You could still.
Mm-hmm.
What is Harry Potter?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not real.
So all you need is an idea. All you need is an idea,
That's
and
true.
but it's got to come from you and your heart. If you just do something for money, even if you make a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not going to work out too well.
No, you're not going to be happy with it. You're not going to feel fulfilled
That,
at all.
that's what happens with lottery winners.
Yeah, that's what. And then they end up broke.
It's like the worst thing that ever happened to them.
That's a huge lesson to learn right there.
Yeah, and it's the
Oh
same
goodness.
thing with business. I think people like, oh, I'm going to start a business, and it's like I'm going to hit the lottery.
Yeah, that's
No,
what some people think.
be careful what you ask for.
Right. Because it does not ever go good that way. No, it doesn't. So when it comes to the basic foundations of a business, what are those foundations, in your opinion, that people need?
So I'm going to tell you what nobody wants to hear, and it starts with your numbers. You got to have a budget. You got to know
Mm-hmm.
where your money's coming from and where it's going to.
Yeah.
If you think about it, there's literally no other way. Okay, I go through my well now my CFO goes through it.
That's right. It's
my
not
my
you anymore.
monthly charges, and you're like, oh, what is this $29? What? And you find money. We find money all the time for clients. because we're going through their bookkeeping. We're like, what is this new charge? And then it turns out it was fraud, or it was
Wow.
something they ordered that they didn't want. But we
Mm.
bring this stuff up to our clients. So you need your real-time financials. And
Mm.
for a solopreneur, it's not that difficult. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's difficult for the single person, for the one, but we've done it tens of thousands of times. So it's easy for us to set up an accounting system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you have the system, you need to have a budget. I just went through this with my coach, the guy with $100 million business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's like, we need a budget. I'm like, you're telling me what I already know. But that goes back to what I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We were already working on it, but I forgot. But that you got to have your balance sheet, your P&L, and you got to know where you are personally. Okay. That's another thing we do. We don't just look at the client's business. We're looking at their personal financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the business is great and they're all messed up personally, that doesn't work either. You
No,
got
it
to
doesn't.
make money in the business and set yourself up for life.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it starts with the numbers.
That is a great foundation. Yes. Yes, it is. So as far as I hear a lot of talk about people, they're trying to structure their business legally the correct way. How do people go about that, and what is the best legal structure for a solopreneur?
Okay, so this is an issue I talk a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote a book.
Oh, yes.
Okay, the Itty Bitty S Corp book. It's already, I'm pretty sure it's available on Amazon, but we're going to do a
Okay.
bestseller campaign. There's 30 million businesses in the United States. 25 million of them are classified as sole proprietors.
Wow. That's
Okay.
amazing.
There's really only two classifications. It's pretty simple. You're either a sole proprietor or a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
LLCs don't mean anything.
Really?
Everybody, really, it's something that I've been battling for years with, but I found a way to deal with it. So LLCs, people go with it. LLCs are the search term is like 1,000 times more than S corps.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be an LLC, but they don't know why. That's the problem. It's like you don't know what you don't know. The IRS does not recognize an LLC. There's no tax form for an LLC. Did you know that?
I wasn't for sure about that.
There's
So
no
there's
tax
no
form
tax.
for there's a tax form for a sole proprietor. It's called a Schedule C,
Okay.
and it goes on your personal return. And that's the problem. Your business is combined with your personal.
Um.
Okay. So when I realized those statistics, I said, there's something seriously wrong with the system. Too many people are sole proprietors, and sole proprietors get overtaxed, over audited, they get no respect, and
Wow.
it's the worst way of doing business. So people go and there's accountants and attorneys that tell people to be LLCs, and I don't understand why.
And
Look,
that's what I've always was told.
the reason is because the reason why is because they just don't know. They don't know the tax rules, and it's pretty simple. So in an LLC, if you're a single member LLC, the IRS says you're a sole proprietor. So you've done absolutely nothing to help yourself unless you get sued. An LLC will protect
Yes.
you legally. You know how many coaches or small businesses in my career that I've ever seen sued?
Probably not many.
Very, very few. Very. So it's like you're not accomplishing anything. by being an
Wow.
LLC. So what I do, so an S corp, S corps were created for sole proprietors. Okay, in 1958, there was a big gap between regular corporations and sole proprietors. It was a money gap. It's a wealth gap. All the wealth in the country is with corporations.
Right.
Okay. Now it becomes rich versus poor. And I don't want to get into like political stuff, but the
Right.
truth is, it is political and it's about controlling people. And by keeping people as sole proprietors, the government has a lot more control over people. The government has less control over corporations. Okay, if you can believe
Mhm.
that. So sole proprietors feed the economy. They pay the most in Social Security taxes. They get audited the most. So what's the solution? You become an S corp. You get the legal protection and you get all the tax benefits. And the IRS does not audit S corps.
That is so interesting. You're like blowing my mind. I'm gonna have to go back and after we record, I'm gonna I always listen to it and I might want to take my notes. But you are really blowing my mind because for years, that's all I've ever heard about is the LLC. And if you are an entrepreneur, small business owner, you need to have that. So if you get sued, no one can take your property or your stuff. That's all I've ever heard. That's all I've ever known. And I'm sure many people have
Well,
heard the
okay,
same thing.
so
But to hear this, it's like,
let me
whoa.
ask you something. There's 25 million sole proprietors. How many get sued a year? Just give me a ballpark.
Oh, maybe 100.
Let's say 100,000. Let's say 100. Let's say
Okay.
a million. Let's say a million. Out of those
Okay.
25 million sole proprietors, how many have to file a tax return?
Well, they all do, right? Well, no, they don't because you said they don't.
What do you mean they don't?
Well, because no, no, no. You said that
They're
how many does a
supposed to.
sole proprietor? So the sole proprietor is supposed to, but the LLC don't.
Well, okay, so now we're getting into it's semantics because an LLC is a legal designation and the sole
Mm-hmm.
proprietor is a tax designation.
Mm,
That's what I'm saying. This LLC doesn't cover anything about taxes.
okay.
So every
Wow.
sole proprietor has to file a tax return.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that that's more important than worrying
Getting
about
sued.
getting sued,
Yeah, it is.
right? So I'm like, the thinking is all backwards.
Wow.
And
So,
I believe it's by design, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think so too. Because like I said, that's all I've ever heard. I've never
If
even heard
10,
of
if
S
10,
corp.
if 10 million sole proprietors decided to be an S corp tomorrow, you know what that would do to the economy?
Well, what did it do?
The cash flow going into the government because of all those people that have to make quarterly estimated payments to pay their Social Security, it would be a disaster.
Hmm.
I don't care. I'm worried about my clients.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
I'm like the government will they'll figure it out. They'll print more money, but what they're doing is criminal. They're keeping people down by keeping them as sole proprietors.
Hmm. This is, we need to do a whole nother show just about this topic. A whole nother one.
More than well happy. More than
Yes,
happy.
because I'm over here like, you know, just blow my mind. Like, I have never heard of this. I've never even heard of an S Corp. Nothing. All I've heard about it was LLC all my life. LLC.
I'm on a mission.
Yes.
I'm on a mission because this is wrong.
Wow, you have blown my mind. I guess let me get my thoughts together and go to the next question.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. I'm having
I'm
fun.
just
I
like,
love this.
whoa. Because I'm telling you, after we finish, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I'm going to do my research too on this. Because I'm like, you're blowing me away.
Research it.
Okay.
Find something on the internet besides from me that says being an S corp is good.
Yeah, I'm going to look.
Find anything. because I've looked and I can't find anything. The
Wow.
benefits of being an S corp.
And I swear, like, okay, because like I have a group with another woman of business owners. There are, right now, we've got it to like, it's 30,000 people in this group. And I'm telling you, at least a few times out the day, because we have probably 100 posts a day, like they post all day. But I'm telling you, every day somebody is asking about the LLC. How can I get my LLC? Where can I get it at? Well, how can I do this? How can I do that? And then I have a sponsor that's betterlegal.com. Not saying it's something wrong with that, but and that's what they do. But they do the LLC. They'll do. I'm sure they do
But
this in the
there,
corporation too. But that's all everybody talks about. No one. I'm gonna have to put this in my group, and this is another group. This is not even the podcast group. I'm going to have to put this in this group too, and all my groups to say,
okay.
hey, y'all, we've been misled and bamboozled over here.
And the companies like LegalZoom, the company I work with some companies that do, we set up corporations.
Mm-hmm.
We do it ourselves because we know how to do it.
Yeah,
But these other companies that set up, they're just taking orders.
they
They're
are.
not giving you advice.
Yeah,
They're,
because
they're not
it's
allowed
what you
to.
want. Like if you say I wanted to form an LLC, they'll just do it.
And they're doing LLCs because that's what everybody's searching for. Think
Yeah,
about it.
it is. Like I said, that's all the people that's in my group. That's all they ask about. I don't know what if I was to do a search of S corp in that group, it'd be
No, they
zero.
don't
No
know
one's
what it
ever.
is.
They don't
The
know.
only ones that know are people that are CPAs working in CPA firms.
Yeah, because y'all know all about the
But
taxes and
but it's like a bubble, Janice. That's the problem. I was in that bubble for a long time. I didn't realize that there was so many sole proprietors out there. We're in a CPA firm. We're dealing with corporations.
yeah.
We get a referral. It's usually from one of our clients, and if it was a sole proprietor, we turn them into an S corp. It's like a no brainer. And
Wow.
I'll let you in on something. It's always been like that since I've been an accountant. Over 40 years, it's always been like that. That's why I had to say to myself, what's wrong with this picture? The general
Yeah.
public has no clue.
No
They have
clue.
no clue.
Wow. This is amazing. Um. So okay. So I'm gonna shift just a little bit
Okay.
and ask you a question about your books because you do. I'm gonna make sure I have all the links to your books and stuff so I can put in the show notes. But you have a book. And it's from the myths to money book. And
Yes.
it's how to turn old ideas about business into massive success. So, how about can you name one myth and how it can lead to success? Just one.
It's the economy.
The economy is a myth.
No, I'm failing because of the economy.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
you know
oh,
how many
yes,
people
I
I
got
know, myself included, that have made a lot of money during COVID
you.
because we were not expecting it. Okay, it's something like so. What I tell people is it's not if something happens; it's when.
You're right.
You got to have your business so you can pivot. I went remote with my accounting practice 15 years ago. So I didn't have to like close my office.
All right.
My employees didn't have to like not come into work. We didn't miss a beat,
Yeah.
you know? So it's never the outside stuff. It's the inside side. It's your mindset. It's like, are you going to react or act? Are you
Mm.
going to be ready or take everything by surprise? Oh, what a surprise. Crypto just crashed.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've been
oh,
reading about that.
I'm going to sell everything now. It's not, no, it goes up and down.
Yeah, it does.
The rich people buy when it's down, and the other people sell when it's down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, that's the way it is. And that was one of the epiphanies. I was like, wait, it's not all about the numbers. It has to do with what I think, what my expectations are, what I believe, my false belief, all of this stuff that they don't teach you in CPA school. Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote that book because I felt like I had something to say. And there's a lot of other people saying it a lot better than me, to be honest with you. That was my first book. And I keep it now to what's really practical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's enough mindset people out there that are much better than me at it. It's important. I don't teach it, I don't coach it, but you got to have let's say I teach the financial mindset.
Okay.
Taking everything back to the basics and looking at it, just like I had to look at myself, my life. Why was I doing stuff? Why did I make this decision? Because it's complicated. Let's face it, when you start, life is complicated. Life is tough. When you start a business, you just added a whole nother layer
Sure did.
of complication. So what a surprise when people start a business and 9 months later they want to shoot themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, so I try to prepare people for that. I'm like, listen, keep your day job.
Yes. Yes. I know a lot
Right?
of people in my group some people ask about that. Should I quit my job? If you need to, you can't pay your bills on your job, your entrepreneurial journey, then no, you don't need to quit. I don't know why people ask that.
It's simple. Like when you get down to you can only sleep 4 hours a night because your business and then you got to like do something. But then
Yeah.
you get a part-time job.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's a crazy question. Well,
Yeah.
I have enjoyed you so much. How can the listeners connect with you on social media? You have
So,
some
I
website?
have a Facebook group. You can connect with me on Facebook. You can always book a chat with me if you want to talk about some of these. I love talking about business. I could talk
Mm-hmm.
all day about it. You just go to timewithjoe.com.
Time with Joe.
And my website is bedrockbusinessbuilders.com.
That's so awesome. Like I said,
And can I mention one other thing that's
oh,
really new
sure.
into my mastermind group? If you go to mastermindwithjoedicharia.com, and I would love to have you come and share what you do with us.
Oh, sure.
We meet twice a week. It's free. It's for entrepreneurs, and we play games and we have
Oh,
fun.
I love games.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really
Oh,
amazing.
yes. I definitely will join you on that. Yes, I would love to. That's great. Well, we definitely have to meet again, especially with this S corp. Like, I've got to have an episode with just that. Got to.
Anytime. Okay.
All right. I appreciate you so much, and I will definitely see you again.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night.